Welcome to our February Silverstone Auctions motorcycle review, the first big auction of the year. We're going to go through a selection of the 10 bikes that we think were quite interesting and worth looking at from the auction. And also at the end, I'll pick my two particular favourite bikes that I would have bought if it was up to me. And then we'll also look at some of the trends for the year ahead. So without further ado. Now, there were quite a lot of off-road and enduro bikes featured in this auction, and it's one of those that we're going to start with. An unusual one, lot 114, a 1977 Laverda 125cc that featured a Husqvarna two-stroke engine. Now, when we think of Laverda, instantly think of the 750 twins or the 1000cc triples that they produce, such as the Jota. Off-road bikes, you don't see them very often. Still retains that beautiful bright orange paintwork that we associate with a Laverda. A rare bike indeed. Pretty little machine, fully restored, fully working. Estimate £3,500 to £4,500. Achieved 3,700 including premium. So, bike number two, something completely different now. Lot 120 is a 1940 Machilus G3 MOD war issue machine. Now, these have been quite popular style of bikes in recent years, and prices are really starting to generate quite a bit of interest. Now, this is a genuine World War II machine, dispatched out to the MOD in 1940, saw service out in the desert. A little bit unusual to what you normally see. Most of the bikes used were side valve machines for ease of maintenance. This was an overhead valve model, so had a bit more performance, a bit more usable on the road as well. Looks great with its girder forks, 8-inch headlamp, nicely restored, good running order. Estimate 6,000 to 8,000, but on this occasion it didn't reach its estimate, so 5,500 including premium. That was a really good value machine in my opinion. Now, lot 3, one of the star bikes of the auction, one that was promoted quite heavily before the show, and well, it didn't disappoint. Lot 131, a 1978 Honda CB404, featured in that really bright parakeet yellow. Now, these bikes, again, 5 years ago, you could pick a mint one of these for about £3,500. Good ones now, £6,000 plus. This particular one was very special. One owner from new, genuine UK bike, never been fired up, brilliantly stored in fabulous as new condition. Still has the cellophane wrapper on the headlamp bezel, original toolkit included. One push mile only, so showroom condition, as new bike. Estimate was quite low on this bike, just £6,000 to £8,000. I thought it might tickle sort of £10,000 mark all in. However, it achieved the fantastic sum of £15,975, which is got to be a record for one of these bikes, but where are you going to see another one again like this? So, number 4 on our list, another one of the star feature bikes was Lot 138, 1927 Triumph, which was a Works TT machine. So one of 6 bikes produced for the TT in 1927. Very rare indeed. It was stored in a loft in 1932 and not discovered until the late 60s. Brought back to life in the 70s and used in hill climbs in the 70s and 80s. Running machine, loads of patina to it, very original condition. It's verified as being one of the genuine Works bikes from that period, although mismatched. So it's got frame number 1 paired with engine number 5. However, you know, it's still the real deal. Bonhams actually sold this bike back in 2012 and it achieved £32,000. So the estimate on this was £35,000 to £40,000. It achieved better than that. It got £41,625 all in. So a 50% growth from 2012 to the present date in value, which is a very solid return if you're into investments. What's also interesting about this bike is the sister bike to this, the other remaining one of the 6, was sold by Bonhams in 2020. That's got frame number 5 with engine number 1. So if you're the owner of the bike just sold at Silverstone, could meet this guy who owns the other one, you could do an engine swap and have your original engines. Who knows? But food for thought. Very interesting machine, very good price. Now, lot number 5, so we've gone from an expensive bike through to something a bit more better value and a bit more unusual. Lot 151, a 2005 model year Sachs B805. So an unusual looking bike, a bit Marmite, sort of retro with its spoke wheels, but Street Fighter with its styling and twin headlamps. So not quite one or the other, but an interesting machine altogether though, with its V-twin Suzuki powered engine, German built, one of just 150 made, over 15 years old, so could be registered as a classic machine and used in some of the classic events with the VMCC. You're not likely to pull up alongside another one. Great value, £2,700 including premium. Bike number 6 on the list is our 1936 Brough Superior SS80. Now, we've talked about these plenty in our old videos, and they are stunning looking machines, the Rolls-Royce of motorcycles, featuring the Matulus side valve engine, 998cc. Great condition, very well kept. Was a non-runner, so would require some recommissioning. Said it was correct numbers on the description, although no certificate from the club, so make your own mind up there. Lovely looking bike, estimate 50 to 60,000, which was reasonable. It achieved £61,875 all in. Now, the certificate from the club would be quite an important thing to consider as a buyer of this bike, because although it says it's correct numbers, so the numbers for the frame, engine, gearbox, tank might match that on the works card that they've got for the bike, how do you know those stampings are correct and original stampings? The club would therefore be able to issue a certificate or a letter of authority to say that, in their opinion, this machine does contain the correct numbers and they are the original stampings. So always important to try and verify or confirm that when buying a bike such as this, where it's such high value, and there are clones and copies out there. So now on to some two-strokes. Two-strokes, red hot category for the last 2 or 3 years. We've seen some phenomenal prices fetched in auctions on these and some really hot bidding. Now, lot 156, 1982 Yamaha RD350, liquid-cooled bike, genuine UK bike from new, matching numbers, beautifully restored, finished in a relatively rare candy blue paint scheme. Very nice bike indeed. Estimate was about there, 10 to 12,000. This achieved £10,500 including premium, which compared to some of the prices recently is pretty good value, I think. Lot 157, another RD Yamaha, this time a 1978 RD400, air-cooled one with a coffin-style tank, white with the red graphics. Again, stunning example, beautifully presented. Aftermarket exhaust showing on this one, but it did contain its original exhaust as well. Estimate 11 to 13,000, which is sort of the top end of the market. This one though remains unsold, so it's still available. Number 9 on our list, then another two-stroke, but from a different era and a different mould this time. Lot 165, 1999 Aprilia RS250. Race replica for the road, ultimate sort of Grand Prix replica that you could have just after you pass your test, get onto one of these back in the day. Real road rocket. 250 GP replica, 72 horsepower V-twin two-stroke, very low mileage example. Again, along with sort of RGV 250s, NSR 250s, there's real interest in these bikes again now, and finding good examples is harder than you think. A lot of them were ridden by boy racers back in the day, ended up in ditches or on the track and broken to many pieces. So this was a fine example, low mileage, immaculate condition. Estimate on this, £10,000 to £12,000. It beat that comfortably and achieved a fantastic price, £15,188 all in. So number 10 on our list, lot 158. I've got a bit of a soft spot for these 70s Hondas. And this one is a 1970 KO Honda CB750. Genuine UK bike from new. One of around 30 plus bikes that were imported into the UK of this model type. Immaculate condition, fully restored, candy red. Beautifully running machine as well. Matching numbers with its original toolkit. Strong prices on these generally for the last few years. A lot of interest in these bikes. Estimate was sensible, 17 to 19,000, and it achieved the top end of its estimate, £19,125 all in. So that's our top 10 bikes. Now, if I was at the auction, my personal choice, in fact, there's 2 bikes that I would have loved to have bought or added to my collection. First one, lot 178, a Honda 1989 NC30 VFR 400. So the baby brother of the legend that is the RC30. And this was a great example, barn stored, still has all the looks of the RC30 but in miniature. Estimate £4,000 to £5,000. It achieved what, £5,625. So great value machines these are for a proper classic. I mean, 1989, it's an old bike now, and compared to the price of its big brother, exceptional value. So I think these are great little bikes. So the other one, something a bit bigger and a lot more exotic this time, Lot 187, a 1977 Benelli 750 Say 6-cylinder, the first ever 6-cylinder production motorcycle. This one immaculately presented, fully restored. There's a great little video of it on the website, of it running on Silverstone's auction website. Estimate 14 to 16,000. It achieved bang in the middle, £15,188. Beautiful looking bike. So things to look out for as well for this year. This is the first big auction now complete. There's lots to go as the year unfolds. A few trends I think in the market that we can expect to see or possibly see. Two-strokes continue to be very popular, 70s ones we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years, but 80s and 90s two-strokes, RG500s fetching big money. The Aprilia that we saw earlier in the video, again, really strong interest in these bikes, RGV250s, NSR250s. And I think as a category we'll start to see more of these, or nice examples of these bikes, appear at auction and on the market, and the prices should continue to grow strength to strength. Pre-war British bikes, particularly when they've got some sort of recognised or written history, matching numbers, they continue to be strong and create strong interest and good prices. Vintage and post-vintage categories both included in that. Bikes that are going a bit softer or continue to be good value, readily available, are Brit bikes, 50s and 60s, BSA's, Norton, Triumphs, sort of the more everyday, everyman bikes that 3 or 4 years ago peaked in price. They've dropped a little bit now and seem to be, again, pretty good value, and I expect that trend to continue this year. So all in all, an interesting auction. We'll be reviewing and previewing more of these auctions throughout the year. Put your comments below and we'll see you again soon.